Welcome to another session of human resource management or HR. Understand the use of technology. It's important that we have awareness of the HR um, softwares and HR tools that we use because there are right now that helps the HR department to make their lives easier when it comes to attendance, when it comes to the computation of salary, when it comes to the evaluation, when it comes to performance indicators. There are tools to help that to help organize, to check the absenteeism, to file leave. So there are tools that are being used, and that's a sample of a technology integrated and being used in human resource. Organization frequently lack the funds or motivation to research software and identify inexpensive implementation solutions. People are sometimes nervous about new technology. The finest organizations, however, are those that embrace technology, the finest, um, and find the best technological applications for their industries. Numerous HRM software choices exist that help streamline, simplify, and improve HRM procedures. Good strategic strategies take into account for this factor. Yeah, that's actually correct. As I explained earlier, companies right now, especially if the company has more than 20 employees in the UAE, there's a rule of emeritization that if you have reached a certain number of employees, you are required to get an Emirati employee. And then, if you are even bigger, that will be a challenge for the HR department because the ratio is one HR could even handle 50 staff, and that will be handful. So it's easier if they have tools, software to help them to manage the attendance, to compute the deductions, to check on the sick leave, whose insurance is gonna expire. So those are the tasks helped by softwares. Elements to consider and research before creating a strategic HR management plan. Strategic HR management plans must have several elements to be successful. It is important to note that the design of HR management strategic plan is focused on the aligned and core objectives of the organization wants to achieve. In contrast, the HR plan consists of detailed strategies to achieve strategic plan objectives. So that means that if you are in part of the HR department, your goal is between being pro employee and pro company, right? If you see that you want to target full attendance on, say, for example, you're in an industry that you work on holiday, Eid holidays, you are in the food industry. That means you are working. So you need manpower for that because people are out. Most of the people in the offices, they would have holidays, and that's the time that they would go to your restaurant. The goal is to serve the people in your area. So how are you gonna align your objectives there? Plan your schedules ahead. If there, a matter of fact, I have recently um, read an article. April 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's a holiday. 13, 14 is weekends. So people will go back April 15, full holiday. It's a long weekend here in the UAE. So, how are you gonna plan how are you gonna plan your schedule, your shifting, right? Identify strategic HR issues. In this step, the HR management professional will analyze any issues or challenges addressed in the first step. For example, the department may see that it is not strategically aligned with the company's mission and values and optimate challenges to its departmental mission and values due to this information. To determine some of the difficulties they are experiencing, many organizations and departments will use a strategic planning techniques that analyzes strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. To determine some of the difficulties they are experiencing, many organizations and departments will use a strategic planning technique that analyzes strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. SWOT analysis. Once the business has completed this study, HR can align itself with the demands of the businesses by knowing the business plan. Prioritize issues and actions. Based on the data gathered in the last steps, the HR management manager, should prioritize the goals and then put action together, plans together to deal with these challenges. As essential aspect of these steps, it is involvement of the management and executives in the organization. For example, if an organization identifies that there are a lack of comprehensive training programs, plan should be developed that addresses this need. Yeah, it's very nice that in the HR department you are aware of the performances of your staffs. That means, especially here in the academy, say for example, in our school, I'm somehow as the BDM manager have the task of overseeing this is an HR task, but because we have like limited and we do multitasking here at Torch Institute, if I can see one staff available at the same time, so I would suggest that staff to be taking care of other courses, you know, um, say for example, if you would have idea, the main courses that we have here at Torch Institute is medical course, non-medical courses or admin courses, technical courses, and um, food and beverage courses, right? So that means one, if the trainer for technical course like dressmaking, flower arrangement, balloon making is available, maybe I could train this teacher to teach non-medical courses like business management, reception and office admin. So those courses, we're making this person flexible. Why? Because there's a problem there's a lack of comprehensive training or there's a need of a trainer. There are students that enroll. Did you get it? Yes. So we identify the issue and we make actions. Develop the HR plan. The preparation of the plan can commence once the HRM manager or the HR management manager has met the executives and me and management agreed on priorities. For HRM to be effective, it must collaborate with organization and help it achieve its objectives. It needs to be taken into account with designing HRM in all areas. It is important that if you are in the HR department, you also meet the requirements and the target that your management has given you. This is number 4, development the HR plan. Because you become the head, you are like the umbrella managing the people. You are the point of contact. So you will be given instructions by the management and you are going to deliver. Say, for example, you're kind of like the nanny of the company. You're taking care of the welfare of your staff. That's your task. So it's important that if you are given the task of the higher management, you get to, you know, you get to reach that goal. These steps, creating a strategic HR plan. The development of HR plan can begin and address specific issues within human resource department. After creating strategic plan, the HR plan differs from strategic plan as it is more comprehensive and concentrates or immediate goals. Generally speaking, the HRM plan should include the six following elements. Determine human resource needs. This section assesses the organization, present, then the future employees' needs and closely related strategic plan. Determine human resource needs. That's one of your tasks. That means if you see that there's need for more people, then uh, that could be one of your roles and responsibility. Get the qualified people to perform in your company. Sad to say, if there's a need to remove staff, that could be also your responsibility. Redundancy. That's the term that I encounter when the pandemic hits. There are airlines back in Qatar where during the pandemic they have to lay off because, yes, because there's no flights. The term was redundancy. So if there are multiple crew, s- like flight steward and stewardess, then they have to remove because there's no flights. The pandemic lasted for a year. If they are paying one um, crew for 6,000 6,000 reals, multiply with crews that are not flying, that's a loss from the company. There's no flights. So they decided to lay off. That could be your task. Somehow, there are cases where they had to keep the staff and just move it to a different department. So that's the decision of HR department. Determine recruiting strategies, create a plan and addresses the best way to hire the proper individuals for the night for the right time. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes the HR department would decide to probably get staff overseas. Say, for example, um, it would be a lot affordable if they would hire locally someone rather than someone from outside of the country. So it depends. Say, for example, nurses. Yes. So they will get nurses from the Philippines, for example. Then they will hire here. Uh, that could have, um, that could have some challenge because in the Philippines, they have a very strong anti-human trafficking law that would not allow for the company to hire right away or just hire just like that. It has to go through process. And that's an extra cost for the company. But if they will just hire someone from here already, then that will be easier for them to, spend. Yes, exactly. Select employees. The selection process consists of the interviewing and hiring process. Develop training. And then we have determine compensation. How much offer your company can do. And appraise performance. Develop methods to assess and support the productivity of the employees. That's important. You This is pro employees, I like that you give them trainings, appropriate trainings for them to be flexible and for them to be more knowledgeable about work. Determine compensation, like how much should be offered to this person. It depends on the experience. Experience is one of the determining factor for your offer. And we have appraise performance every year. Do you increase? Do you give increment? Or every after your contract? Yeah, that's the practice here. Some of the big companies, they can even get like less than 10% of what they're getting as basic salary. So if their basic salary is 1,000, 10% of which is 100. And then after a year, the basic salary would be 1,100. That's the reason why in the labor contract, they would put the breakdown. One person is receiving 5,000 as salary. They would put basic salary as 1,000, housing allowance, clothing allowance, food allowance.
No, yeah, basic salary. Because
Yes.
they don't need like the employee still will give you 500.
Yes.
That's 10%.
Correct.
That's not.
That's the breakdown. So the basic salary would be the basis. The basic salary can also your basis for your final pay. Yes. A compensation plan refers to an aspect of compensation package. There is few fundamental aspects of compensation packages that must be taken into account before devising the compensation strategy. This foundation can help formulate a compensation strategy that satisfies the organization's objective and is in line with the strategic HR plan. The following fundamental inquiries should be answered to evaluate the performance of the organization's current pay programs, if any. From the employee's perspective, it is a fair wage. Are wages too high to achieve financial health in the organization? These are your qualifiers. These are the questions that you ask in the HR department before you like set the offer to certain roles. Does the pay scale reflect the importance of various job titles within the organization? Is your compensation good enough to retain employees? Yes, because some of the employees would just complete their contract and leave because you don't have a better offer. There's no increment. Would they want to stay with you or use their experience and expertise and apply to somewhere else that can pay their better, that can pay better? Are state and federal laws being met with the compensation package? Yeah, that's true. Is your compensation philosophy evolving along with changes in labor market industry and compensation? So these are the questions that you ask for your qualifiers in determining the offer. But unfortunately, I rarely say like negative words, but yes, unfortunately, in the country, in our host country right now, this is um, flexible. That's the slightest description I can give because some of the companies will give you offer of this amount, but the task that was given and responsibilities that you have to do is supposedly for this higher amount. Yeah, your job, if you would compare with a better company, should have been compensated for 5,000 dirhams, but you were only offered three, yeah, or even lower. So is your company willing to just Okay, if you're not renew, we can easily get someone like you. If like, what if they have that kind of thinking? Then maybe you could use your experience somewhere else. You can apply. Then you can demand higher, at least higher. If you're moving into a different company, um, and the reason would be about the salary, then demand at least if you're previously getting 3,000, demand for 5. So if they negotiate, you'll end at a 4. That could be an option because talent and skills and experience that's valuable for any company. Compensation plan refers to all aspect of understanding compensation philosophy. After addressing the fundamental questions, the HR managers can identify where the company may be weaknesses in their compensation package and develop new philosophies in line with the strategic plan. One second. Weaknesses, okay. Develops new philosophies in line and strategic plan which benefits the organization. Some possible compensation policies might include the following. Are salaries higher or lower depending on the location of the business? Questions like, are salaries lower or higher than the average in your region or area? Should there be a specific pay scale for each position in the organization, or should salaries be negotiated on an individual basis? If there is no set pay scale, how can ensure individual salary offers or non-discriminatory, which is apparently happening? What balance of salary and other rewards, such as bonuses, should be part of the compensation package? You know, in the Philippines, we have their 13th month pay, like a Christmas bonus. Companies are required to provide 13th month pay. Yes. Then we move with internal and external factors in determining compensation strategy. One major internal factor in the compensation strategy that the organization chooses to adopt, there are three main types of compensation strategies, which are as follows. First, market compensation policy involves paying the going rate for a particular job within a specific market based on research and salary studies. In the Philippines, in the city, it's 610 pesos as uh, as the minimum wage. Let me check quickly on how much is the basic salary in the UAE. How much is the basic salary in the UAE? Huh. Even though there is no minimum wage in the UAE, there is an average salary depending on the job role the person is going to take. For example, a domestic worker may earn between 1,100 dirhams to 1,800. This is helpful since the person may have an idea on how much he or she is going to earn. So that means it cannot be lower than, as a basic, lower than 1,100. And then on your contract, you can get housing allowance, can get clothing with allowance, but that's the basic. So you you're in the category. Are you getting the amount you should?
Where is reality?
Okay. Market plus policy.
Market plus policy, let's suppose it, because I don't really understand this one. Is it what you sell, they will double, and you will get compensation like that for?
Market plus policy refers to paying higher salaries than average. For example, this type of policy may be more suited to highly competitive and rapidly changing high technology industries. Yeah, so there are some certain roles that are not readily available in certain industry. Say, for example, in a hospital, someone is expert with doing certain procedures. They might hire, if it within the country there's available, then they can offer you higher than you are expected because in the business perspective, you will bring money to the business if you are able to offer that service. Say, for example, in a hospital, specialization, someone that is specialized um, in vitro fertilization, IVF. You know, IVF is, right? They are combining the egg cell and the sperm cell. It's like an embryo. They'll inject you inside the woman's womb. Yeah. So that could be a specialized skills. Then definitely your salary is higher salaries than average. Market minus policy involves paying less than the market rate. For example, an organization may decide to pay lower salaries but offer more benefits because certain rules, um, they might have requirements if they offer that kind of salary for the basic. So rather than putting it in the basic, they would put it in the benefits. Did you get it? One is policy, complying with your area's requirement. Second is higher. Then the third is the paying lower, right? Mm-hmm. But offer more benefits. So it depends. This is flexible. It depends on certain situations. I would know people, if it's a big company that can offer you really good, basic salary plus benefits. There are small companies, startup companies that would do the market minus policy because they're a new company. They're not established yet. They want to make sure that they will earn um, for their benefit before they offer you like higher compensation. Let's move to page 12. Job evaluation systems. Once you have determined your compensation strategy based on internal and external factors, you will need to evaluate jobs, develop a payment system, and consider pay theories when making decisions. There are several ways to determine the value of a job through job evaluation. Usage of a job evaluation system is critical to assess the relative worth of one job versus another. It is the first step in setting up a payment system. Mhm. Now we come to the explanation where we justify who gets the highest pay in a company, who gets the lowest, why he gets higher, why he got the lowest offer. Once you have determined the compensation strategy based on internal and external factors, you will need to evaluate jobs, develop a pay system, and consider pay theories when making decisions. There are several ways to determine job ranking system. Job titles are listed and ranked in order to importance of the organization. Yeah, that's true. Say, for example, I am the business development manager. I do certain roles and task responsibilities in the company. Do you think I should get higher or lower than the reception?
Even if my
No, that's not depend. The BDM has to receive higher because in the organizational chart, the one that's on the higher position going to lower, the ones that on the higher gets the higher pay. Paired comparison system. Individuals' jobs are ranked against one another and an overall score is assigned to each work, determining the highest valued job to the lowest valued job. It gets to be compared. It's a compared system. How much is this branch getting paid? There could be variation, you know. Say, for example, a restaurant, the one that is in UAE branch and the one that is in Kuwait branch. The Kuwait branch person there are getting higher offer than the ones that is here in the UAE. Why do you think? There could be some comparison. Yeah, country could be a factor. That person could probably doing more tasks because he also serves the marketing. So we get to compare who has the higher task and responsibility. One second. Then we have a job classification system. Every job is classified and grouped based on the knowledge and skills required for job, years of experience, and amount of authority for that job. Absolutely. So this could be a factor, someone who has more experience, someone who is more capable, has more educational background, classification that determines your higher pay, like the payment. Someone who is a newbie, someone who just came from the graduation, that person has no work experience, has no corporate affiliation. He might graduate on top of his class, but he has not done an actual portfolio. So he could be offered as the basic. I mean, he could get a basic as his offer. Point factor system determines the value of a job by calculating the total points of assigned to it. The points given to a specific job are called compensable factors. This can range from leadership ability to specific responsibilities and skills required for the job. Point factor system, uh, it likes enumerates your qualifications, and that could be the basis for your offer. It is somehow related to job classification system, but this one is more specific because say for example in academe, if I have PhD, I have higher points compared to someone who doesn't have PhD. Then that means I have the right to get a higher offer. Someone who has worked overseas could, ay personal niyo ba yun? So that's most likely about the payment. So different companies, would have strategies and offers. It depends on how much the company makes. Page 21, we have human resource management is the process of hiring people, training, page 21, training them, compensating them, developing policies relating to them, and developing strategies to retain them. HRM can be divided into the following areas. Did you get it? Staffing, like the getting staff for your company, development of workplace policies. Different departments might have different workplace policy. Someone in the kitchen would have a different policy in there rather than in the office. Say, for example, working in a hotel. In the kitchen, you should be wearing PPE because you cannot have hair in the food. You should be wearing gloves, proper kitchen attire, right? In the office, you should wear corporate attire. Those are the just maybe just the basic workplace policies. Compensation and benefit administration, yeah, that's true. Um, the people that works in different department would have different offers. Again, I tell you, in companies, talent and experience is valuable. Yes, if you have like certain experience and knowledge, I must say, this kind of education that you are taking right now, this is valuable. My experience and my knowledge is not for free. You're paying for this. The one that I'm like giving you as examples, those are real examples from the people that I work with, from the people that I get to do projects with. So those, you won't get that from anyone. Employee retention and motivation. Yeah, you have to motivate your staffs to, you know, retain, for them to stay in the company and help you grow. Training and development is part of it. Yes. Say, for example, I have a staff here. Josh is based in Abu Dhabi. I get to train him certain tasks. So he become flexible. That's for his own improvement. Yes, Josh is our staff in Abu Dhabi. So we don't want him to be stuck. So he gets to do other tasks as well apart from one department. So he became my teaching assistant. I would give task instructions, he will facilitate. Dealing with laws affecting employment, labor law is definitely one of them. Employee health and safety, awareness of external factors. What are your external factors? Pandemic, um, public holidays, emergency holidays, like for about the weather. The government might give uh, non-working day because of the weather. So those are your external factors. The key challenges for HRM professionals in the modern business world include cost containment. HR managers, HR managers are also uh, of human resource must demonstrate of the organization the necessity and importance to their roles. Mhm. Demonstrate the organization of the need because you try to, of course, maximize your staff. If in the company they paid for your visa, they paid for your insurance, they paid for um, your medical, yeah, not really. I mean, this is an example. It's not necessary to be deducted. It could be their responsibility. That means
Also,
Yeah, there are. Yes. But some of the companies would shoulder that amount. You become their responsibility. So that means you need to give back. You have to do your task and your job. Fast changing technology, HR managers are also responsible for devising policies dealing with cyber loafing and other workforce time waster involving technology. Yes, companies must avoid this cyber loafing. Say, for example, if my staff's, like Josh's staff responsibility is to answer inquiries online, and then he started checking girls in TikTok. That's cyber loafing. Yes. So how do we avoid that? We constantly remind Josh to focus on the task at hand. Yeah. Right, Josh? Factors, economic factors, changes in economy can represent challenges for human resource managers. Economic factors. If there's no much sales, how are you gonna, move forward? Yeah. Aging and changing workforce. Working with multiple generation at once can create challenges as different expectation and needs arise from a multi-generational workforce. I love this. Aging and changing workforce. Some people has to retire. Some people has to enjoy their benefits. Um, some people should be enjoying their time with their families. In the Philippines, uh, there are certain age when you reach 60, you're a senior citizen. Although you can, and if you reach that age, there are some instances that they're still part of the workforce, but ideally that's your retiring age. Yes, you should be like, probably if you have a business, just managing your business because that's your own. But in the workforce, that age is a retiring age. So it says they're aging and changing workforce. So if that age will retire, it will level up. Now this younger generation will fill the lower positions, right? A compensation plan refers to all aspects of compensation package. Example, wages, salaries, and benefits. Five guidelines should be taken into consideration when developing a compensation strategy. Internal, external factors in determining compensation. Internal factors include the selection of compensation strategy, such as market compensation policy, market plus, and market minus policy. External pay factors can include the current economic state, such as inflation and cost of living. Yeah, you cannot offer here a lower salary that won't be able for you to pay your rent, the the things that you buy. That's part of your cost of living. In the UAE, different states, different emirates would have different cost of living. One consideration would be the rent. The rate in Ajman and Sharjah lower than Dubai, right? Most affordable probably would be between Ajman and Umm Quwain. Yes. In Dubai, one loft partition, loft partition is already like half like room. It's bigger. It's double the size. I for myself have seen that kind of difference. A job evaluation system is used to determine the relative value of one job to another. There are several ways to perform a job evaluation. Job ranking system. Job titles are listed and ranked in order of the importance of the organization. We've discussed this earlier. Paired comparison system, job classification system, and point factor system. These are, okay, those are repeated slides.